Welcome to Audio Lab. I'm K Vibes. Today I will be mixing a song from start to finish, an Afrobeat song to be precise. We'll be working with the lead vocals and the backups. So before we proceed, let's listen to what the song sounds like.
I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah, I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. Yeah, you make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't deny. You got me.
So the first thing we are going to work on is the lead vocals, and we are going to start by normalizing all the audio files. Almost every digital audio workstation has a normalizing feature, and the importance of this is to bring out every detail in the recording.
I know your bobo, but you.
So the next approach is the gain staging process, whereby we balance every details in the take and make them to be at uniform level.
I know your bobo, but you still. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things.
We don't want our compressor or limiter to do this for us because we don't want them to overreact. Imagine we tell our compressor to compress every detail between -5 dB to -3 dB, and we have details that are more than the -3 dB. The compressor will overreact and squash every details going above -3 dB, and this can kill the live feel in our vocal. That is why I choose to do this manually for a perfect result.
Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to come my day. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to come my doctor. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to come my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah. Lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah.
Now, let's bounce everything together.
You still won't be my kele.
The next thing is to remove the breath, pop, or click if there is any, and to tame louder S's.
I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You.
The reason why we are trying to remove the breath is that immediately we start using our compressor, the compressor starts bringing up every lower detail of the take.
Make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is. Think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah.
Let's listen to how it sounds now.
Bobo, you still won't be my kele. I know your bobo, but. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, lori rumo that is sunle. I think that is sunle.
This is an example of the excess S's I was talking about. So let's just reduce the gain of this S to match the level of other S's in the take, and let's reduce that by -3 dB. The reason why we are doing this is that we want the accuracy of our de-esser to be perfect when using it.
That is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah. I know your bobo, but you still won't be.
Let's do this process for every other lead take in this project, and because of time I will skip that in this video. Now that we are done with that, let's move to the process of tuning the vocals. We'll be using our auto tune to tune the vocals. The key root of the song is A sharp major. Now let's play it and listen to how it sounds while we increase the level of our auto tune.
I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I
Let's reduce the amount of auto tune on the vocal.
my doctor, I am getting crazy. Yeah, no,
Now let's do it for the other channel. What I'm going to do is to copy paste the auto tune to the other channels.
I can't deny. You got me high. Shenaka Yamata, baby, I've been a yeah.
Now let's input a channel strip into the vocals channel, and we'll be using the CLA mix-up channel strip from Waves to do this. A channel strip consists of the EQ, the compressor, the gate, the filter, and some even have a saturator plugin that comes with them. Just in case you don't have the particular one I'm using, you can actually use the SSL channel from Waves. The CLA mix-up and the SSL channel strip have almost the same interface, so there's no much difference.
I know your bobo, you still won't be my kele.
So let's filter out some of the low frequencies because we don't want much of that on our vocals.
Bobo, you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. If I think I need to find out that I am.
So I'm leaving that around 70 to 75 hours.
I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't.
I'm filtering out the high frequencies and I'm leaving that around 16K. The truth of the matter is this frequency acts uncontrollable as we proceed because they start adding up. Just imagine 2 plus 2, that is 4, plus another 2, that is 6. We don't want that to happen, though we'll still add it up with an exciter plugin to match our level of preference at the end of the mix. Now let's move to the EQ section. We start with the low frequency area.
On my day, say if I eat it, I'm I think I need to come and
I'm using the bell feature to remove frequency around 300, that's the muddy part, and I'm removing that by 2 dB.
me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I'm I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't do. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't do. I know your bobo, you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I think I need to come that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't do. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do on my day. If I eat it, I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't know your bobo, but you still be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't do your bobo. Still won't be my kele. You make me.
So let's bypass the channel strip and listen to how it sounds before we put in the effect.
But you still won't be my kele. Make me do things.
And after the effect,
On my day, I think I need to come and that I am getting crazy. Yeah, you still won't be my kele. You make me.
let's use the compressor feature to compress the vocal a little bit.
I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. You still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. You still won't be my kele.
If you check the meter, you can see the compressor is only reacting to the louder part of the vocal. We are only doing between -1 to -3 dB of gain reduction here.
I am getting crazy, yeah. You still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. Oh no, I can't deny. You got, I'm getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo.
So let's do this for the other vocals by copying and pasting the channel strip. The next thing is using a de-esser to reduce the level of S's, and I will be using our de-esser by waves to do this.
You won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I think I need to go. You still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. If I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I think my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. You still won't be my kele. You still won't be my kele. You do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. You still won't be my kele. Yeah, I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, Damilori rumo dirty sunle. I'm getting crazy, yeah. Oh no, I can't deny. If I eat gum, I'll get bottle when you coco. Thunder go fire. If I eat gum, I'll get bottle when you coco. Thunder go fire. If I eat gum, I'll get bottle when you coco.
So the next thing is creating a bus channel for our lead vocals, and we'll be sending all our lead vocals into the bus channel. So every changes we make will affect all the tracks we have sent into the bus channel. So let's call this bus channel our lead vocal bus. You can see we've added all our lead vocal channel sent to the bus. Now let's use a limiter to limit the louder transients in the vocal, and I will be using a L1 limiter from Waves. You can hear that area is clipping and it's going above 0 dB.
They won't put us under.
We'll set our limiter not to allow any level go beyond -7 dB to -6 dB.
But you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if friends they run to mommy, they won't put us under. And it over love, let's see while I saw thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one.
The next thing is controlling our frequency dynamics, and we will be using Smooth Operator from Baby Audio to do this. This plugin is like a multi-band compressor. So if you don't have the plugin, you can make use of any other multi-band compressor you have.
Be my kele. You make me coco. If I no fit to buy you designer, just be one coco. All of your friends they run through mommy, they won't put us under. And it over love, see while I saw thunder go fire. If I eat come on, give out to one coco. Be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I'm melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I'm melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, I'm melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do.
So I'm using it to compress excess level from 500 down to 2K, which is the mid-range.
I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele.
I'm using the other one to compress around 3K.
I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, that melody room or that is I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, that melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, that melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come.
So I will be using another compressor to glue the vocals together, and I will be using the FabFilter Pro C2 to do this.
The melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting crazy. Yeah, no, I can't deny. You got me out. Don't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am yo. She dey carry me go and no sabi yo. Omo ya olohun o pa mi yo. Woto she carry for body yo. Yeah. If I eat gan mo ge but when you.
The next thing is to use a subtractive EQ to reduce a particular frequency that is played in, and I think the frequency is around 1K.
Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting crazy. Yeah, don't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Don't be my kele. Don't be my kele. Kele. You make me do things. Don't be my kele. You don't be my.
We'll be using the dynamic feature of this plugin because we don't want it to affect every level of the frequency.
Don't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day. Don't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say if I eat it, the melody room or that is. Don't be my kele. The melody room or that is sunlay. I think I need to come and doctor I am getting crazy, yeah. I know you won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, me lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. I know you're bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, me lori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to.
And another DSR plugin to reduce the SS.
Be my kele, but you still want it, me lori rumo that is sunle. Jamilori rumo that is know your bobo, you think.
Now let's use 5 filter Saturn plugin to add color or saturation to the vocal.
You won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You gon' be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You got me, gon' be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I love your friends. Friends they run through money, they won't put us under any toba.
The next thing is using a R compressor from Waves to tighten up the vocals.
Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You gon' be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. Make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. No my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. If I no fit to buy you designer, jockey want to talk. I love your friends, they run through money, they won't put us under any toba love. Let's see while I saw thunder go fire. I know you're bobo, but you won't.
Let's use a vintage EQ as an addictive EQ to boost up the vocals and to add more warmth to the vocal. This is Quick-Tech Vintage EQ from Waves.
Put us under any toba love. Let's see while I saw thunder go fire. I know you're bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. I know you're bobo, but you still won't be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. I think I need to call my doctor, I am getting crazy, yeah. If I eat go, you make me do things I can't do one day, no my day. Say if I eat it, Jamilori rumo that is sunle. gbà mí o, she dey carry me go, I no sabi o. Ọmọ yẹn ò lóhùn ò pa mí o, wotowoto she carry for body o, yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. Ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. Kele, you make me do things I.
Now the next thing is to use an exciter plugin for clarity and to restore back our high-end details. And with that, we'll be using a plugin from Analog Obsession called Tilter.
Things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. Make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. Make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You got me high. Ṣé nàkàyà má tari for body, oh yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you still. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ.
Let's add more warmth to the vocal.
I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You got me high. Ṣé nàkàyà má ta baby, I been a jar, yeah. Ẹ̀dàpọ̀ ẹ̀gbà mí o, she dey carry me go, I no sabi o. Ọmọ yẹn ò lóhùn ò pa mí o, wotowoto she carry for body o, yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. You got me high. Ṣé nàkàyà má ta baby, I been a jar.
And another multi-band compressor to compress excessive frequency.
Ọmọ yẹn ò lóhùn ò pa mí o, wotowoto she carry for body o, yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí. Dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my thunder go fire. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. Ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. No, I can't deny. You got me high. Ṣé nàkàyà má ta baby, I been a jar, yeah. Ẹ̀dàpọ̀ ẹ̀gbà mí mi o, she dey carry me go, I no sabi o. Ọmọ yẹn ò lóhùn ò pa mí o, wotowoto she carry for body o, yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. One day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you ti dà mí lórí on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy. On my day, say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti.
Let's use the MV2 from Waves as an upward compressor to bring up the lower details or the lower level in the vocal.
Ṣe nàkàyà mọ́ta baby àbí nàjà, yeah. Ẹ̀dàpọ̀ ẹ̀gbá mi o, she dey carry me go, I no sabi o. Ọmọ yẹn ò lóhùn ò pa mí o, wotowoto she carry for body o, yeah yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú mọ́ mi, they wan put us under. Ẹni tó bá lọ bẹ́ sí wa lásán, thunder go fire. I know your bobo, but you still wan be my kele. To call my doctor that I am getting crazy, yeah. Ìfẹ́ ìdùn gan ọmọge but owó ní kókó. If I no fit to buy you designer, jọ kí wá ní kókó. All of your friends dey ranjú. You make me do things I can't do one day on my day. Say ìfẹ́ yìí ti dà mí lórí irú mo dẹ̀ ti sùnlé. I think I need to call